The semi-supine position is used in the Alexander technique. It helps many different ailments including back pain, neck pain, headaches, sciatic pain, anxiety and stress. It can alleviate the pain in the moment and also work to prevent the issue in the long run. This quick and simple method puts the body into the best position to stop gravity being a strain on the body and to allow the body to come back into its natural shape. As you release muscles in this position, the spine is also able to lengthen and straighten, and the inherent elasticity of the body has a chance to return. The semi-supine position is used in the Alexander technique. It helps many different ailments including back pain, neck pain, headaches, sciatic pain, and anxiety and stress. It can alleviate the pain in the moment and also work to prevent the issue in the long run. This quick and simple method puts the body into the best position to stop gravity being a strain on the body and to allow the body to come back into its natural shape. As you release muscles in this position, the spine is able to lengthen and straighten, and the inherent elasticity of the body has a chance to return. You're going to be lying on the floor with your knees bent and your head on a few books in order to be in a more natural alignment. It's important that you're lying on the floor, not a bed or a sofa, because you need the feedback of a hard surface. If you're not going to be lying on a carpet, put a rug down so that you are comfortable. If you experience any pain, particularly in the pelvic area, then do put down a second rug. In order to find the right amount of books for your head, find a blank area of wall to stand against. With your heels flush to the wall, let your bum and shoulders rest back and use your fingers to measure the space between your head and the wall. Then find a pile of books this height. Now bring yourself to the floor, lying on your back with your knees bent and your head resting on the books. First of all, we're going to explore why you're in this position. Let's start by looking at the legs. The easiest way to feel the benefit of having the legs bent is to take them out straight and see if you can feel the difference. You can notice the difference by taking either just one leg out long or both of them. Try this and see if you feel a difference in your lower back. The lower spine arches more as the legs lengthen. So when they are bent, it is flatter against the floor and therefore more supported. In this position, with the legs bent, you are more able to release the muscles around the lower back. Play around with how far away from your body your feet are. When they're close to the bum, it can be a little bit tense and contracted in the hips. When they're too far away, it can feel a bit out of balance. If you're struggling to relax with the legs like this, try playing around with taking your heels further out from each other than the toes. You may find that the knees are drawn towards each other like this. Now let's look at the arms and hands. First of all, put your arms straight by your sides. Notice how this feels in the shoulder and upper chest area. Now put your hands on your belly with your elbows bent. Hopefully you might feel a bit freer in the shoulders and upper chest, with more space for expansion. Have your hands on your lower belly in a way that they are not touching, so either side by side or one above the other. Again, this creates a bigger sense of freedom and expansion. Lastly, we'll look at the head. Try taking away the books from under your head and see if you notice a difference. You might feel tighter and more restricted in your neck or throat, maybe even your shoulders and the front of your chest. So put the books back under your head. Notice how the whole of your body feels. Let's give you some things to think about whilst lying down now. The first thing I want you to think about when you lie on the floor like this is what you're aware of in your body. It may be your shoulders that first come to your awareness, or your pelvis, or even your head, or elbows, or feet. Now notice the differences between the left and the right. Is your left shoulder heavier than your right shoulder? Or do they feel about the same? How about in your pelvis? When you start to ask yourself these questions each time you lie down, you can build up a picture of whether it's always the same or whether there are differences. You may notice a difference whether you do the semi-supine at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day. It's important when you do the semi-supine that you have your eyes open. I'm going to give you some things to think about that will help with the relaxing and realigning of your body. If you just lie in this position with your eyes closed, daydreaming, you may notice some physical benefits afterwards, but it won't really be the Alexander technique. You'll also hopefully find much more benefit if you do this as a conscious activity with your eyes open. I'd like you to bring your awareness into the space around you. First of all, the distance between you and the ceiling. How far away does the ceiling feel? This doesn't need to have an answer in numbers or words. It can just be a sense of feeling. Now think about the space either side of you, to your left and to your right. How about the space above your head and below your feet? Now take your awareness back to the ceiling, this time really thinking about your vision. So look at the sides of the ceiling, perhaps track around some of the straight lines you can see. Or if you can't, you can look around a light fitting. Notice how your vision is today. Is it smooth? Or is it jumpy? There may even be moments of fizzing or freezing. If it feels quite jumpy or erratic, just slow it right down so that you're moving very slowly along a straight line. You may notice after doing this for a while that it starts to become smoother. Thinking still about the distance between you and the ceiling that you're looking at. Now I'd like you to bring your attention to the distances within yourself. First of all, taking in the whole of your body. How far away do your feet feel from your head? Again, this is just a sense, a feeling. We can experiment with this by taking one of the feet out further away from you. So take one leg out long. With the leg flat on the floor, think again about the distance between your head and that foot. Does it feel further away in this position? Are you thinking about the distance as a picture from the outside, or as a sense from the inside? When you bring your foot back in again so that your leg is bent, I'd like you to do this by taking the knee up towards the ceiling. This helps to maintain a feeling of length in your leg rather than contracting it. Now let's do that with the other side, taking the foot out so that the leg is long. How far away from your head does your foot feel? Is it the same on this side or is it a bit different? Is there a difference between the length when you think about the outside and the inside? So as you take your leg back to being bent, do this by taking the knee up towards the ceiling, keeping the sense of length within all of the leg. Now I want you to think about the length from your head all the way down to the bottom of your spine. Does this feel like just one length? Or is there a point along your spine where it feels like there's a break, as if there's two sections? Now I'd like you to think about your shoulders. How far away does your left shoulder feel from your right shoulder? As you think about this, you can invite some softening and expansion into the muscles of your upper back and shoulders. As you release more onto the ground, the muscles get bigger, wider and longer. So we can invite the shoulders to move away from each other. We can carry on this sense of expansion through the whole body. Think about the distance between your elbows and your shoulder. As you become aware of this length, the muscles can release and you can invite lengthening in the upper arms. How about the wrists from the elbows? And now the fingertips from the wrists. Now think about the whole of your arms, from fingertips up to shoulders, inviting length and expansion all the way along. Now thinking of this length in your back. First the upper back, mid back, and lower back. As you release the muscles onto the ground, around the spine, and in the whole of your back, this area can expand, lengthen, and widen. So now the legs. Thinking about the distance of your knees from your hips. You can release the knees up towards the ceiling, inviting length into your thighs. You can also release the knees away from the ankles, inviting length into your calves. Now think about your 2 feet and invite the muscles of the feet to release onto the ground so that the whole foot lengthens. Now the whole of both of your legs, from the toes up to the hips. And then the whole of your body again on the ground, from toes to head. Now I'm going to draw your attention to your breath. Notice which area of your body you notice first. Is it where the air enters up in your nose? Or as it travels down through your throat? Maybe it's in your chest, or down in your belly. I'd like you to draw your awareness all the way down into the belly, so that you're inviting the breath to go as far into your body as possible. You can even take your awareness into the sides of your abdomen and round to your lower back. Can you feel movement in your lower back as your breath comes in and out? Now ask yourself which of the breaths is longer, or are they the same? Try counting on the in-breath and the out-breath to compare. It doesn't matter what the answer is, there's no right or wrong, but it's good to know. Are you leaving a pause at the end of the in-breath before you let the air out? There doesn't need to be a break here, so see if you can just allow the air to leave as soon as it's finished coming in. This transition can be nice and smooth. At the end of the out-breath though, we do want a bit of a pause. Leave a small pause at the end of the out-breath so that you're not rushing and forcing the in-breath. Just leave a moment and allow the air to start coming in when it wants to. See if you can even be aware of breath influencing all the way down into the pelvis. The whole of your body benefits from the movement of the breath, so you can even think about your legs and arms while you're being aware of the in and out breath. So we've thought about the space that you're in, the room around you, the space inside your body, and your breathing. In a moment, I'm going to instruct you on how to get up. Notice if you had any tension and getting readiness in your body as I said that. It's very easy to get off the floor by contracting muscles and shortening the body, but as you've been doing some nice work expanding and lengthening, it's a good idea to try and get off the ground in a way that encourages maintaining this expansion and length. We're going to come off the ground by rolling to one side, and in this example I'm going to talk about going to the right. So start the movement with your eyes, taking your eyes over to the right and letting the head follow. Now the left arm is going to start the twist in the body. Let the fingertips of the left hand lead up towards the right hand shoulder so that they can come to rest on the floor by the right shoulder. The left shoulder and hip can follow this twist so that weight starts to come into the left hand. The arm lengthen and straighten, pushing the torso upright. You can now either come back to sitting, cross-legged or on your heels, or you can move through all fours to a standing position. Take a moment now to notice how you feel, taking in the whole of your body, the space around you, and your breathing. You can take this awareness with you into the rest of your day.